absolutely true that no individual has done more damage to the First Amendment, the first article of the Constitution, Article 1, than Harry Reid. He has weakened the legislative process. He has done everything he could to empower the president and diminish the power of people through the legislative branch. And his last acts as leader, as the minority leader, will be doing everything he can to get the majority for the next Democrat leader to be the majority leader, and we don't want that to happen. We don't want that to happen. Now, they will say anything, and have, by the way. I've seen some of these ads. Most of it's illegal if you did it. Others just unreasonable if you did it. But they will say anything. Now, that's the short answer when you're asked. They will say anything. Harry Reid, remember what Harry Reid said 4 years ago about Mitt Romney? After the election, he said all kinds of things. Even occasionally went to the Senate floor where you absolutely can't be sued. And frankly, people like me really don't have much right to sue anybody anyway because we've chosen to be in this process. But after the election, Harry Reid was asked, well, what about those things you said about Mitt Romney that turned out not to be true? His only answer was, we won the election, didn't we? Not, I wish my facts had been better. Gee, I shouldn't have relied on the person I relied on. I wish I'd have gotten everything a little straighter. I really regret. They didn't say that at all. He said, we won the election, didn't we? Now, they are not going to win the election by talking about the way I've represented you in either the House or the Senate. I told my wife the other day, I said, you know, I probably voted 5,000 or 6,000 times in the House and the Senate. Amazingly, all of those votes must have been perfect. They don't want to talk about anything that's real. They want to talk about things that aren't real. You know, they want to talk about my family instead of what they're about to do to your family. As if Obamacare wasn't enough. And as if the president's proposal that my opponent supports to raise your utility bills, our state, the average utility bill would double in 10 or 12 years. If you want to check this out, this is a pretty easy test. Next time you pay your utility bill, imagine that you'd be paying, what would happen if you paid it twice every month instead of once? Because that's what you'll be doing in 10 or 12 years if they get their way. And they don't want to talk about that. They don't want to say, oh, Roy Blunt, he's the guy that when the Department of Health and Human Services issued that rule that employers, even religious employers, would have to offer insurance that they didn't agree with, but based on their faith principles. He's the guy that was the first one that filed a bill and led the debate on the floor not to do that. Oh, Roy Blunt, that's the guy who, for the first year of Obamacare, went to the floor every week with letters from people I work for talking about what this was doing to their family, their inability to see their doctor, insurance they couldn't afford. They wouldn't say, oh, Roy Blunt, he's the guy that 3 times